friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Dalia and we're on my tropical island Guava doing our official last build. Today we're going to be decorating all of the remaining beach areas I have on my island. I have incorporated a couple of beach builds in other builds throughout the island as I built it, so today we're just finishing what we have left. So we're going to be starting with the front beach, which is directly to the left of my airport. This entire area, this is the largest section we have to build, but honestly there's a couple of bigger sections we have to decorate as well. We have to decorate the back left corner, the entire bottom left, and then the bottom right next to my airport, and then the top right next to my top cliff. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you would like to join our little community. Lyman would love if you join it. Lyman's always hanging around when we're doing builds. He loves the spotlight, I think. So we're gonna start with my front beach, and I do apologize if today's video is a little longer. I had so much decorating to do. I only had like about 2 hours worth of footage for decorating, but there was so much like different parts of this build that are like these builds, I should say plural, that I really just wanted to show you guys as much of the builds as I possibly can. So this is a slightly longer video, but I promise you it's a fun time, and honestly it's the last build on this island, so let's take advantage and, you know, like show as much as we possibly can. So I placed this white deck down, and then I'm gonna be placing some palm trees around it. Now my idea for this entire front entrance is I wanted to do like a public beach area, including a like snack bar area, which is what I'm decorating right now. I originally was actually gonna have my entire beach covered with this white plank. It was going to be more of like a boardwalk style area, but then I realized I wanted there to be sections where people can just relax and play in the sand, much like you would at a normal beach. So I decided to cut up the section and then do just a small little snack bar area using the white planks, and then the rest of the build is going to be completely empty of custom designs. It's just going to be more of furniture and things like that. So didn't quite know what I was going to be doing for the snack bar area. I downloaded this simple panel design that has like these tropical like drink signs on them, and I decided, you know what, we'll do kind of like a juice bar slash snack area, so you can get like sandwiches and tropical drinks, and really just keeping it very simple. So I have like a counter, and then we're placing some metal and wood tables and chairs. I decided to go with the lighter like brown color because it matched the color of the covered counter I used as well, or the countertop. I'm not sure which one that one is called, but and then I'm placing the metal wood table and chair down. I also struggle throughout the course of this video trying not to talk to Harv, because for some reason every place I was decorating he was hanging around. So you'll see me like struggling to make sure I don't accidentally press A and speak to him, because I would like to post my dream address with him roaming around the island. I just think Harv fits the whole tropical vibe of the island really well, and so far I've managed to not talk to him in all the months I've had this island. So I'd really hate for the last like week to result in me like accidentally speaking to him. So I'm just placing down some items. I put down some countertop chairs, like the counter chairs, to have kind of like a bar top, and then the rest of the table wooden and chairs. And like I said, I'm placing like random snacks and food and drinks, basically very colorful items to go with the rest of the build, and then an antique cash register obviously for like the counter area. And then really I'm just trying to fill in the space the best that I can without making it too crowded. I like all my builds to be walkable, including my beach builds, so that's what I'm doing here. I also decided to extend the plank a little bit just so I can separate the section of the chairs a little bit better, and also so I could place the standing shop sign. I think that one works perfectly for this build because it has the tropical drinks on it once again. And I don't know, I like utilizing as many in-game codes as I can just to avoid having to download too many. I actually do have like 6 or 7 design slots left. I never really fill my design slots fully, just so I have the opportunity to like download custom designs over the course of building a island, because you never know like what you might want to add over the course of creating an island, you know? So I always make sure to have at least like 30 to 40 design slots open, probably more closer to 30 and 20 to 30. But it's just so that I can add more over the course of building an island. So now moving away from the snack bar, I really wanted to create like a section where you can have some changing rooms. And you know how, for like a beach, more like an actual beach, not, I guess you can also like see this at a pool too. They have like the hand washing stations, and then like an area where you can like wipe your feet or like clean your feet off, and it's kind of like a little faucet. Look at me trying to get Harv to just move. Like if I accidentally press A when he's in front of me, I'll speak to him and then I'll have to close my game and then I'll lose my progress in the build. It's a lot. Harv, just walk away. Just walk away. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm creating like a little changing room area, and then I'm using the hand washing station. I decided to go for more of a blue and white theme with the colors for this one. A lot of my island colors have been more in the warm tropical, like yellow, orange, pink. But I think for a lot of beach builds, I'm enjoying using more blue and white because it's very beachy, you know. So I placed those down. I also decided to use that garden, whatever it's called, the little, what is it called? You know, like the thing you use to wash your hands or wash your feet. That's the idea. That's the idea with that. I'll place the item name on the screen. My brain is not cooperating with me today. I've had one coffee. It's like 1:30 as I'm doing the voiceover for this. I had one latte this morning, which I made myself. It was delicious. We got an espresso machine recently, so I've been using that and making my own like lattes to avoid having to spend more money on coffee. Very delicious. But anyway, now I'm placing this white playing path just across the beach, really just kind of like, you know, making a little like pathway from the entrance. There's 2 entrances for this build, the one that I'm right in front of right here, and then the one that's right in front of my gas station right above me. So for the seating arrangements, I decided to place a couple of beach parasols, and I chose the white ones just to keep the color simple, and then I chose the one that has the blue and white umbrella, once again just to kind of like tie in the more blue of the like the right side of the build. And then I'm placing some sandcastles. My mouth, it's not functioning with words. So I'm placing some sandcastles down, and then really I'm just gonna be placing like just random like beach items. So some surfboards, a couple of beach balls, some inflatable bird rings, like, you know, just like random items that I think you would find on like more of a public beach. I also kind of wanted to do like a surf shop kind of build, but unfortunately we don't have the space for that. So I placed a couple of surfing boards just directly next to the snack bar. It kind of looks like you can go there and request to rent one, I guess. And then because this is a public beach, we have to have a lifeguard stand, so I did that. And then I love using the megaphone and placing it beside the lifeguard stand because it looks like the megaphone that like a lifeguard would use to yell at people when they're like roughhousing on the beach. And then just to complete the area, I'm placing some log stools directly beside the umbrellas and chairs, and then just placing a couple of items down. And one thing I did not include, also I want to mention, watch how many times I sit down accidentally on an item in this build. Probably like, so we're already at number 3. We're gonna keep track. You guys are gonna count with me. Tell me in the comments how many times I accidentally sat down on an item when I was trying to move it. Because when I tell you, it's quite a few. So anyway, one thing I was trying to mention is that throughout the video, you'll see like weeds and additional like small dropped items like seashells being placed down, really just to cut some of the time for the longevity of this build. I don't include it. You guys have seen me place down weeds before. You know what it looks like. It's not a very difficult thing to explain. I also did cut out me placing some custom designs down as well, like the shadow of the bird flying overhead and some like random shell designs too. Once again, just to save a little bit of time for this build. Also, I try to place these like chips down on the log stool in the end. Look at the chips hanging off the edge. Some things were just not meant to be placed together, and apparently those two are one of them. I don't think I actually end up placing anything on top of this log stool. Sometimes I like to keep a couple of my like table options open, just because it's a little more realistic than having like every table surface completely covered. So once we were finished with that build, we moved on to the second beach, which I'm decorating here, which is on the bottom left-hand corner of my map. Off camera, I just quickly decorated my river mouth, and then just kind of completed the bottom left section of this area because I kind of left it empty in between builds that I've done in the last couple of weeks. So for this area, because it's kind of in a very bizarre section and it's a very small beach area, because it's really not next to anything. Like, it's not really next to any villagers' homes, it's not really next to, like, a big build or anything, and honestly, the build right in front of it is a construction site. I decided to make this entire, this build just because I don't know, I wanted to make a couple of my beaches a little more, like, natural. I'm really just going to be placing down palm trees, a couple of like bigger rock items, some wheat fields, and some white cosmos. White cosmos has been like my go-to like color flower choice for a lot of my more natural beach builds, even the fake beaches that I've created on this island. Unfortunately, I can't plant white plumera bushes on the beach, because I would if I could, because I've been placing them on my fake beaches and I like how they look on the sand, but unfortunately you can't plant shrubs on your sand, like your actual sand in game. So after planting some of the trees and the cosmos, I started planting and placing down some of the rock items. I went with the flat garden rock, the tall garden rock, and then the regular garden rock for this build. I will be using them sporadically throughout the course of the video, but for this one in particular, they do place a pretty big role. I also place a lot of wheat fields directly behind or in front of the garden items. I like how the items look when they're placed together. And then I also planted a bunch of like regular weeds, as I mentioned before. Won't be showcasing me planting all of my weeds, but you'll see them like popping up in between the spaces of the build. And then I wanted to include like one more furniture element. I wanted to place a couple of like sitting areas, so instead I chose to go with a couple of hammocks. I just kept it very simple with the white hammock with the white colorway, just to keep the area very simple and honestly to tie in the like white cosmos. And I don't know, I didn't want it to be too busy or messy with the pattern for this little section. And I don't know, I just like how cute that little I don't know, it just looks so like serene and peaceful. Like, I really hope to catch like my villagers like sitting in a hammock in this like very serene, relaxing section of the build, and I don't know, it just looks really cute. So I placed a couple of white planks just along the beach, pretty self-explanatory, and then a couple of the like overhead flying birds. Once again, like I said, I did cut off a majority of this, but just for this small little build, I'm like, okay, look, here's me placing them down. And there's Harv hanging out around the area again because he, for some reason, will not leave me alone and let me like build in peace. This is not the last time you'll see him, I swear to you. So after we finished this area, we had to move on to the back left portion of my map. This is an area that leads to there's a highway, and then there's an incline that leads up to a couple of villagers' homes on the back left. So for this area, I'm placing a couple of way breakers. This particular area, I do decorate quite a bit. This is actually the second biggest section that we're building. And for this area, I wanted there to be kind of just to tie in with the more like handmade sections, or I created a bunch of fake beaches that had a bunch of like fishing piers and like fishing ports. I wanted to create a more natural fishing area, so I decided to create like a tide pool study area along the rocks because I really wanted to incorporate my beach rocks as much as I could into my builds. So I'm gonna be using a lot of in-game fish items because some of them come in the absolute cutest little fishing containers. Like, I think I've gotten so used to using the 2.0 fishing containers that I forgot how cute some of the non 2.0 items can look, especially in builds. Like, I haven't done a build like this in a while that required like fishing items like this. Like, obviously I could have used the fishing items in like the 3 or 2 fishing ports I've made on this island, but I haven't. I also really wanted to use my fake water design as well on the beach. I really wanted to create some tide pools on my rocks, but unfortunately I don't have enough custom design slots really to fulfill it, and I thought that this design would look okay on the rocks, but to be honest, the edges look really gross. I don't like how it looks against the darker gray. So I do try a couple of times to see if maybe I can make it work. And I really hated it. So eventually I do get rid of it. I also extend the one that I had already placed on the sand, and then I get rid of the one that I put down on the rock. It just unfortunately did not work. I do end up actually downloading 2 puddle designs that I think look like I've used these puddle designs before, and I've used them on rocks and they look great. They're just not exactly quite what I wanted for like the tide pool. But you know, you try to make do with what you can in like the last couple of builds on your island. You know, like you just try to make it work the best that you can. So I placed a couple of wheat fields, and then I'm placing garden rocks. Once again, I tried to cover the tide pool like edges even with rocks and wheat fields, and it just did not look decent. Like, I do try once again to place the fake water design on this section of rock. It just does not work. So now I'm placing the fish items. Like I mentioned, I use a mixture of like actual fish items, some sea creatures, and even one insect. I use the giant water bug because the giant water bug comes in like this blue like little bucket, which is so cute, and I wish it was just an item in the game by itself. But I used a variation of like sea urchins, some mitten crabs, just a bunch of different fish really to make this look as realistic as possible. So basically people come here and they can like study sea life, which I think looks really cute. This is actually a build I would have loved to incorporate my museum with, but I feel like just like you guys saw my museum build. If you haven't, I'll leave it linked in the description and up in the card here. I ended up putting my museum at the very center of my like a big part of the city, like city part of my island, but originally I wanted it to be like right in front of the water, because this is like a seaside city, and to have people like, you know, have the ability to study like the sea life close to the the museum. Unfortunately, it did not work out that way. I think it'd be really fun to do a video like that, or a build like that, if I kept Lathers in his tent. I've kept Lathers in his tent for one of my islands so far, and they gave him like more of like a sunken dig site area, which I really loved, and I did incorporate like one small area that looked a little bit more like an area where you could study like fish and other like sea creatures. But it'd be really fun to do like a beachside version of that, but fortunately I haven't done one yet, but that would be really fun for a future island build one day. So for the other section of the giant rocks, I just decided to place a couple of fishing yachts. They're meant to be more fishing boats than yachts, because like obviously you have the area where you can like study little fish.
You see, on top there's Don Lino. Right. There's me. And there's regular fish.
Oh, that's me.
No.
And then you can take the fishing boats out and you can study like bigger fish.
There's whale poo, and then there's you.
That's kind of the vibe.
That's messed up.
And then I placed a couple of fresh coolers, and then a couple of fishing rod stands throughout the area. Really just placing items down that like fit the theme, and really just trying to fill up the space the best that I can. Once again, I placed a couple of rocks along the beach, and what I love about the placement of these tide pools on the sand is that it connects the areas really well as you transition further down the beach. I also placed a couple of the sea creatures and the fish along the sand that are in like the little red and blue, more like square things that have the handles, like the little bags, and they just look so cute. And then I put the little spiny lobster. This is the only one I placed that's in that like yellow square container, but I like the pop of color. I think it's a nice like separation. And then I placed a couple of hermit crab models, because if you actually place the hermit crab down, it's in like an actual like tank, and I wanted just to have the hermit crabs kind of like out. So I placed them throughout the build really close to a lot of the tide pools, because you do see hermit crabs like, you know, scuttling along on the beach, and I think they look really cute, especially along the like or next to the wheat fields. I don't know, I think they look really cute, and it kind of hides the stand that the model's on, and it's just so cute. I like that additional like little pop of color. I don't know what I'm saying when I say pop of color, like it's gray and beige, but anyway, just to finalize the area, I'm placing a couple of additional costume designs, really just trying to connect the area to the street. And the pond smelt is the last little fish item I placed down. I wish I had another one of these. I really should get another one. It's in like the blue container, which I think looks so cute. I think it's the only fish that's in that container. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the only one I could find that was in that container. Moving on to another section, we're working on our bottom or top right corner of my map now, and I just went to a treasure island, and Azalea is staring up at the sky. I love when the villagers like just watch the sky for like 10 minutes after you return from a trip. So for this area, this is in the back right corner of my map, and it's only accessible if you go back through this little like backyard area I have to the right of my house. So I wanted to keep this one extremely simple and minimal. I'm actually sectioning off the area directly below it, which is a little beach I made for Flora. It's kind of like a flamingo beach, I guess you can call it. I'm sectioning the entire area off with a lot of palm trees. I wanted it to be very dense, just so it kind of shows that it's kind of like a private beach area, I suppose. And then I wanted to incorporate a couple more fishing elements. So this is another area I dedicated to like fishing. It's a little different than the one I created in the last section, because this is more of a private beach area for myself, I guess you could say. So all the items placed down are like my character's own like fishing boat. So I even have one that is like the rundown damage version that my character is like, you know, like fixing up. And then on the left side, I'm going to be creating a little like actually fishing section with a fishing rod stand, a little chair for my character to sit down. Really, I'm just trying to personalize it a little bit more than the previous one, because the other one was more of an open section for everyone to visit. This one is a little bit more of a private area just for me. So that's what I'm placing down there. I will be including a couple of custom designs, those little puddles. Once again, I love these puddles on the rocks, just because they give like a little bit of realism, because obviously like water, you know, ends up on the top of the rocks when it hits through the waves, and then also when you place like fish and things down, obviously the rocks get like wet and dirty. And then I'm incorporating a couple more cosmos, really just to tie in the various sections around the island that have the white cosmos. I'm trying to make all the beaches look similar but different in their own way. So I'm just placing a couple of them down, and then essentially that's it for this section of the island. I really even didn't want to decorate this beach. I wanted to really just cut it off completely, but of course I had to decorate. Like, I could get away with not decorating my beaches on another theme, but this is a tropical island. You have to decorate your beaches, you know. It's just one of those things. Like, it's very, I don't know, it's pretty obvious that it's something that you really need to incorporate and tie into your builds as best that you can. So I placed a couple of the fish drying racks. Once again, this is my character's own little fish area, and then a couple of the puddles underneath. And that's essentially it for this section. I really kept it very simple for it. I didn't want to go too crazy with too many items, too many things decorated. I did put down one fishing container in like the light blue, just to tie in to the color of like the water and everything. And then I put a paint can, a little vintage stool. My character accidentally sat down again, as you guys can tell. Have you been keeping track about how many times I've sat down so far? And then a couple more wheat fields, which I haven't mentioned. I've been placing down sporadically. And then off camera, I do place a couple of weeds and a few shells, just to kind of complete the space, which you guys will see through the final walkthrough. And then the last item I placed down was a toolbox. I like how the toolbox kind of looks like a fish tackle box, and then I just opened it, and then that was it. Now we're moving on to the last and probably the easiest build in this entire video, which is we're decorating the bottom, not the bottom right, but like the beach that's to the right of my airport. And in a previous video, I decorated this really cute little like sitting area, cafe style area, which is directly across the street from my museum. And essentially what I'm doing is doing the exact same thing that I did up there, but on my beach. So I placed a couple of palm trees surrounding the area, really just to section off the water, because to the right you have my river mouth, which I've completely cut off and not used, and to the left you just have my airport and more water. So I'm placing the exact same pathing down on the sand that I used for the other build. This is a path I've used primarily for a lot of my more cafe slash restaurant slash sitting areas on my island. You've seen me use it for my smoothie bar. I used it for the little sitting area that's to the left of my plaza, and a few other random areas. And I like how it's this very simple white subway tile. I do have a bigger variation of it as well, or smaller variation I should say, which I've used a couple of times, but mainly I've used that one for more beach builds. Could have used that for this one, but I like how I kept the two custom designs for both of the areas simple and exactly the same. So after creating this section, I'm going to be placing down exactly the same items that I placed on the top, on the bottom. So we're going to be using our bistro tables, we're going to be using the peacock chairs, and then we're going to be using rope partitions to section off the area as well. One thing I did want to use, which I didn't get a chance to just based on the size of the build, is a couple of serving carts. Once again, the serving carts is just to add an additional element to place items down on top of, because sadly you can't place items on top of the bistro table. I wish that you could at least customize like the color variations of the items on the bistro table, because you have like this little notebook and then a coffee cup, which is so cute. I just really wish that you could customize like the color of it. And you have like that little plant there too. So cute. One thing I didn't do that I'm probably going to go back and fix is I didn't change the color of the umbrella portion of the bistro table, and I think I would like to change it just to add a little pop of color to this area, because everything's very white and blue. Once again, a lot of my beaches do have this white and blue element, whereas the rest of my island, the city elements, is a lot more warm toned with the yellows, the blue, the pinks, the oranges, the purples. Once, like, I don't know, I like the differentiation of the colors. And then I'm placing a couple of planks down on the sand just to lead to the water, and then a couple of weeds and cosmos again in this one section, because it's a little bit more of an elegant build, I like to say, and I think that the cosmos just look really pretty placed on the sand alongside like the color of the custom designs that I used and the color of like the bistro table. And yeah, we're pretty much finished for this build after I placed the cosmos. I also did place a wave breaker. I should have placed one in front of the sand leading to the beach, but I actually forgot, so we'll just completely pretend like I didn't do that. Pretend that I did do that. But yeah, we are officially finished with the video. We're gonna go through a quick little walkthrough. I'm just gonna showcase each of the builds in like a very quick little clip of each of them. Okay, if I sound out of breath, it's because I have tried to record this like 4 times, and we've gotten 3 separate packages delivered to my door in the last like 15 minutes from 3 separate parcel services, so I apologize in advance. Anyway, let's go check out the final build, and please let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. Alright, that is everything for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I cannot believe we're officially finished with this island. I mean, it only took us like, what, 5 months to complete it? So, you know, it went by very, very fast. So, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss when I post my dream address and island tour in the next couple of days. So, I hope you guys all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!